So a week and a half into this YouTube experiment, and I have some thoughts. YouTube is so interesting because at least in the education sphere of YouTube channels, there's this optimization myth that's really pervasive across many of these hugely popular channels, where the message is, if you want to make anything happen in life, any goal you're pursuing, whether it's financial independence or being fitter or health or adopting the carnivore diet, a lot of these popular channels are perpetuating this myth that you have to pre-optimize, that it's very complicated to do these things and you have to watch hours and hours of content before you even take the first step to become fit or to develop wealth or whatever it is, insert your, goal here. And I find this totally fascinating, especially when I compare it to the work we do in academia. So I'm a professor, and in higher education, a really highly skilled professor is standing in the front of a classroom and they're an expert in a field. And the real benefit of learning something from an actual expert is that expertise can look at something complicated, some complicated problem or situation or system, and boil it down and really attend to and figure out what matters, what doesn't, and why. And then that expert can communicate the most essential details that other people need to know to grapple with this problem or perspective or understanding on the world. And so all of that is to say that what experts do is we take very complicated things and we can wade through all of the details and all the things that apparently make it complicated, and we simplify and we make it easier. And if you've ever been a student in a college classroom with a really good professor, that person probably made their discipline come to life and feel really easy to learn for you. And that's when you know you're in the hands of an expert. But expertise, of course, requires many years of learning about something and lived experience, reflecting on it and thinking about it and really being critical and getting deep with your thoughts about this topic. And so there's this expert culture in academia. And then YouTube is starting to represent to me the opposite, the anti-expert culture. And what people do when they don't have a very good grasp on something is they overcomplicate it. And I think this is also complicated by the way YouTube incentivizes their program for content creators. So people who are creating content about financial independence, for example, they're incentivized to get as many views and as many watch hours from all the people staring at their phones as possible. And so they're actually incentivized to overcomplicate things, which is the opposite of what you need from a true mentor or expert. And so you have these financial channels where it's like, these are the top 9 things I'm not wasting my money on this year to build wealth, which is such BS. And I wonder how many people are out there watching hundreds of hours of content, but never actually opening a brokerage account and investing, for example. And that's such a good example of people just wasting their time and buying into this optimization culture that really leads to optimization procrastination that actually turns people into consumers who don't actually take one step to get better, to change their lives, to pursue whatever they're trying to pursue. So to put this into more concrete terms, if you're on YouTube and you want to become fit, that's your goal. You want to be healthier, you want to live a life where you feel good in your body. This is like your end goal. And the means that you've decided to pursue to make that goal happen is you want to work out. Optimization culture, this optimization myth tells you you need to consume all these hours of watching videos and Google searches and doing research to find the perfect workout for your body. And then when you do that search, it leads you down a rabbit hole into finding the perfect shoes for this particular weightlifting. And then you're going to go on Facebook and some community group and crowdsource everyone's ideas about their favorite gym. Oh, where do you go to the gym, and tell me why? And you've now taken 20, 30 steps. Time is going by. You have this illusion that you're actually being productive, but what you are truly doing is you are engaging in optimization procrastination. Weeks probably go by and you're not even one step closer to getting fit because you haven't gone into the gym yet. And it's this really fascinating thing happening where I see people I love Facebook groups. So I'm in a ton of financial independence Facebook groups and carnivore groups and all of that. And people will come to a carnivore group and say, I'm so confused. I don't know how to start this diet. Tell me what you eat in a day. And I can tell, and some of them are like, I've been watching videos for 3 weeks, or I've been trying to start this for a month. And it's like they're being bombarded by all of these inexpert content creators who don't have the insight to actually package anything in a meaningful way. So then it becomes reductive, right? A really good academic or an expert can make something simple but not reductive. But Facebook is the opposite for most of these channels. And it just confuses people and they think, oh my gosh, I can't start eating carnivore. I can't start working out until I get these 20 things lined up before I actually take my first step towards making this thing happen that I want to happen. And it's actually, it's sad. I feel bad for people. YouTube could be a space where we give access to so many people who wouldn't otherwise have it. Access to really good information, and not just information, but insight and wisdom. And so, for example, in the personal finance realm, someone like Ramit Sethi, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, he's doing a really good job of posting content with integrity. He isn't just Googling, top 5 tips to save money and putting out this like beautifully produced but totally vapid video. Instead, he is providing actual value. He's interviewing people. He is coming at this from what you can clearly tell is an expert perspective. And you walk away from his videos with some actual insight that you probably didn't have before it. And contrast this to other personal finance videos. There's one huge channel, I'm not going to say her name, but she's this beautiful young woman. And her content is filled with these like totally worthless videos. Top 5 things I'm not buying in 2024 to build wealth. Let me tell you, not buying things doesn't build wealth. Investing builds wealth. And so you're distracting your audience from what actually matters, from actually taking the first step, and they're doing it on purpose. And it's not their fault. They're incentivized to confuse the issue because a confused person is going to consume more and more content. And they're going to keep thinking, this next video might give me the thing I need or the insight I need. But then it becomes an endless scroll because for most of these channels, you're in the hands of an inexpert who isn't capable of giving you insight. I think these people are literally going on ChatGPT or Googling a list of things and just regurgitating it. And because they're nice to look at and they can produce these beautiful videos, like kudos to them, their videos are fantastic, but they're empty, they're meaningless. In the carnivore diet space, there's tons of stuff like that. And then you have really good channels like Dr. Sean Baker, who again is working with real people. He gets lots of testimonies. He's asking the questions that are really interesting and that give his audience the option and the opportunity to learn from someone else's lived experience. Versus someone who's putting those stupid thumbnails, there are all these thumbnails like, people are making these faces to try to get you to click. And then the video is like, these were my top 5 mistakes as a carnivore. And it's full of nothing. It doesn't help anybody. I'm really fascinated by this. I've been on YouTube producing videos for many years because we teach online sometimes. And I also create crafty tutorials, but I've never been a real consumer of YouTube where I actually spend time clicking through and watching videos, and the amount of inexpert garbage that is just repackaging information that you could Google and giving zero insight, zero critical thought. There's zero nuance or deep thinking. It makes me so sad because I see the outcome of that in these groups I'm in. People are coming to the finance groups of personal finance, financial independence, retire early groups, saying things like, I've wanted to invest for 5 years, but I'm just so confused. I don't know how to start. And they've literally lost 5 precious years of building wealth because they've been confusing themselves by watching this garbage content that people are just churning out. So I wonder, it's really interesting to me, like if you're a YouTube viewer, I wonder why the average viewer just has such low standards. You'll just watch anyone if they're appealing to look at. It's totally fascinating to me. And I think we should get back to this idea of, if you're going to pick a mentor in life, you should pick someone who is actually living the kind of life you wish for yourself. So if I want to pursue financial independence and I'm 20 years old, I'm not going to listen to a 25-year-old who didn't pursue financial independence in any of the ways they're talking about in their videos. They pursued financial independence by capitalizing off of your time watching their videos. So unless you're going to copy that and create your own YouTube channel, you want a mentor who's older and who has invested and can help you really develop the mindset of what it takes to build wealth for yourself over time. I'm fascinated and sad and kind of horrified by this optimization myth that is totally pervasive amongst education-based YouTube channels. And I see so many articles about like, what's the value of a college education in the information age? This is the value. When you are working with an expert, you benefit from their life experience, from all of the reflection they have done that is required for a critical perspective on something. And a critical perspective is where you figure out what matters and what doesn't, and you can ignore all of that stuff that doesn't matter and focus on what does. Anyway, these are my thoughts. I think we're about a week and a half into our YouTube experiment, and I am really surprised. There's a lot of garbage out there, and it seems like anyone can really profit off of YouTube if they look nice and can create a good video, which is, it's interesting. The age of the inexpert has arrived, apparently. Maybe I'm obsolete as a professor. I don't know. Maybe people don't actually want to change their lives, and they just want to sit there and stare at what people are putting out and waste their lives staring into a screen. And I guess it's your life to waste if you want it, but man, there's so much more meaning out there. So there it is.